Hey, welcome to Poul's Kitchen. This is Chef Poul. Today we're going to be doing a quick video on coconut chicken stir fry. So before we begin, please hit the like, share, subscribe button, and join us on www.poulskitchen.net, P-O-U-L-S kitchen.net. And before we begin, just to let you know some of the ingredients we'll be using. I've already boiled the chicken. This was boned, so I had to debone it. Take all of the meat out, and then we're going to use some coconut milk. I'm going to use spices of ginger, chili pepper, onion, salt, nutmeg, sage, and some poultry seasoning and pepper. I've got some rice that's actually been sitting here cooking for quite a while. It's brown rice. I've got some onions, some grated cheese, or cut up cheese. I hate shredding. This is 2 white onions, and I got a bag of California style mixed vegetables. So we'll be doing that in a stir fry. So what you want to do first is take your chicken and boil it. Boil till it's either cooked or nearly cooked. You don't have to have it fully cooked. I'm also going to mix 2 eggs in it. So I'll start by taking a couple of spoonfuls of coconut oil. When that's all done there, I'm going to take some onions. I'm going to put them in. I'm just going to slowly incorporate everything into it, and the chicken and the rice and vegetables. Now, if you want to put other vegetables in there, like peppers and green onion, whatever, you can do that if you want to use all fresh. I do recommend using rice that's been sitting around for a little while. It does help out. This by all means does not need to be rushed. Take your time with it and you'll do perfectly fine. So like again, coconut oil is great. It comes out hard, so you have to scoop it and let it heat up. Take your chicken that you've already cut up, and just incorporate and put whatever spice you want. Instead of putting sauce in, I'm going to use coconut milk. And you know what? This will turn out really, really tasty. I'll put the rice in last so that you know that you're not killing it with rice and putting way too much in, because it's so easy to do. You want to make sure you have the portions that you want. This is like, you can do this in a slow cooker too. It'd probably be a little bit better if you did, especially on a hot day. I'm not in the mood for that today. So I'm just going to do it this way, and I'll have some dinners for the rest of the week. So I'll be back with a little bit of pointers and stuff like that. Best thing to keep in mind, and oh, by the way, you also want 2 eggs for it as well. Best thing to keep in mind, cheese goes in last, maybe just before the rice. Rice is already cooked, so it's not like it needs to be cooked in here. And don't overspice things and don't overfill, because believe me, it just won't cook well. So we'll be back in a little bit. Okay, the wok is heating up very nicely here. And if you're going to put any salt at all, this is where you do it. You don't really want a whole lot of salt, but it will help out a little bit in the... give me a second here. I just had to put the camera on and talk about something, and at first I have to, use both hands for this because it's a little bit of a pain. But this is where you want to put it, and it will just help sweat the onions out a little bit more. It's not a big deal. You really don't need a whole lot. Another thing too, where you're going to be using some oil, it's probably better to use the most healthiest oil you can. I personally like coconut oil simply because I'm going to be using coconut milk. So it kind of helps give it a little bit more of a coconut flavor, and it helps bring it out without having to sprinkle coconut or use a whole lot of other artificial things. A good stir fry should have a lot of onions and garlic, and I forgot to mention I'm going to be putting a little bit of garlic in here in a minute. But the onions will sweat down and they'll come out a little bit better that way as well. And again, where the chicken's already cooked, you're not going to be here forever trying to get the onions, trying to get the chicken cooked either. And that's always why you always want to boil your chicken before you start frying it up or you start cooking it. It's just not necessary. But the onions will come down, and believe it or not, these are the best things in the world because honestly they do help you from being sick. So it's always a good thing here. So I'm going to take a couple of spoonfuls of crushed garlic. I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to let this heat up, and then I'm going to put the chicken in, and then I'm going to put some of the veggies in, and then spice it. Now, I've already told you what spices I'm using. However, with that being said, use what you're comfortable with. Some people are going to want this really hot. Now, Alan, if you're watching this, I hope you really like this, brother, because I'm thinking of you on this to show you something a little bit different, a little bit more unique. If you want to go vegan on this totally, you know what? You can have some chickpeas in this, and probably would have been an idea, but I got chicken I want to use, so I'm using that this week. But chickpeas would go great in this. Alan, I hope you like this. You know, any single ladies looking, I got a great buddy Alan looking for a really good lady. He's a quality guy and he's not looking for anything fast. He's looking for the real thing. Hit me up, I'll introduce you to him. So I'll be back soon. Alright, so we've got our eggs, chicken, spice already mixed in here. We don't really need to put any more spice in here. I probably put a little bit more chili powder than I like. Now, I had a very important question from somebody very important to me, and that being my mother. Keeping in mind when she's asking these kind of questions, she uses her professional cook, Mike, last name Wave. So she's not really much of a cook. She can cook some things really, really good by all means, but she's not somebody who invests a whole lot of time and effort to actually cook anything. That's just never the way she was. So, I mean, don't blame her that way. But she asked if it was alright for cheese to make a cheese sauce out of Cheese Whiz, because it seems like it's the easiest way to get something creamy out of it. And the answer to the question is no. Cheese Whiz is not a good solution because Cheese Whiz tends to be more of a, I don't know, it's almost like paint really, it's garbage. Don't use Cheese Whiz. Like seriously guys, no matter how much you feel like I'm joking around, just don't do it. Frozen vegetables will work perfectly good in this. However, if you've got time and money, I mean by all means, use fresh. But frozen will do just fine in this. What you want to do here is when you dump this in here, mix this really good, and then when you're done, just when you're about done and ready to start putting in your rice, when you're ready to do that, then you can put your cheese in, and then you can dump your coconut milk. The whole idea is not to drown it in coconut milk. You don't need to do that, but it'll cook through. So this really is not going to take long, as long as you prepare and do your chicken first. This really is not a long process. It's actually really quick. And if you look at this, it looks really good. It looks really tasty. If you want to put rice on the side and just stir this in, you can do that. I personally like to toast my rice a little bit. It's already been cooked. It's been cooked for a couple hours. You can technically cook it the night before, stick it in the fridge. It will actually kill a lot of other issues for you, make things a little bit better. So, I mean, I would certainly recommend that. But a nice hot day where you really don't want to be slaving over the kitchen for a long time, this is a really effective way. It does not take long. You just need to be a little bit patient. And to be honest with you, I kind of feel like you'll be doing dishes longer than you'll be cooking this. You can start the chicken, might take you 10-15 minutes to boil it. Like I said, it doesn't need to be fully cooked. You will fully cook in this, so you don't have to. Cook it mostly, but you know, stop when it's almost cooked. Take it out, get rid of the bones, cut it up to whatever pieces you want. And I mean, honestly, I don't know what you feel like, guys. I mean, obviously you're going to want to put some hot spice in here, maybe curry it a little bit more. I know that's what you'll like. So we'll be back soon. Welcome back. So one of the reasons that I talk about using frozen veggies or mixed veggies, and I'm not listing them, depending on where you are in the world, there's going to be certain veggies that are going to be really easy to get, and there's going to be certain veggies that aren't. My friend Alan is in a small island paradise, Mauritius, and he's going to shoot me later because I probably butchered it. And I guarantee you he's not going to have the same things available to him that we have. I have two very lovely friends in Thailand, and very lovely people. I hope you guys see this video and I hope you comment. and I can almost guarantee you that there's going to be a lot of different things that they're going to have that we don't, and vice versa. Why? Because they're in different parts of the world and they celebrate things that we don't, and vice versa. So use what's available to you. Stir fry shouldn't be dictated by what I tell you to use. Use what you want. So the cheese is in here, the eggs are in here, I should say. The rice, as you can see, is gently being kneaded, so we're almost done. I can almost imagine Mariotas or Indians or Taiwanese. I'm not sure how they label themselves as plural, but I'm imagining that, you know, they probably are going to want to have things with a little bit of heat to it. So I'm not sure jalapeno would be hot enough for them, but I can imagine they're going to use different types of peppers and want to spice this up. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with this. This is how we like it in my house, but you know what I mean? You got to cook to who you're serving. If you got a family and they insist that it has to be hot, by all means, put some chilies in this thing. Curry this up and make it hot. If I was making this for my wife and I wasn't having it, by all means, there'd probably be a ghost pepper in here somewhere. That's what she likes. So I'm just cooking this through now with some of the coconut milk, and we got introduced to this by some of our Indian friends, because I mean, I've seen it in the grocery store, but I mean, to me, coconut milk would be something that I would just sit there and drink. If you know me, you know I absolutely can't stand milk. I've got a really bad allergy to it, very, very death allergy, and I can't have it. Coconut milk, love it, love it, love it. I could drink it as a beverage, and I know that's not something that you should really be doing, I guess, from what I've been told, but maybe somebody could tell me differently. But I like it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to let this cook a little bit, take it off the heat. I'm going to let mine cool down, and I'm going to be putting mine in Tupperware, and this is going to be my dinner for the week. You know, nice, quick, easy. It's, you know, I just heat this back up and I've got dinner ready. If I need more rice for it, I can always make more rice. I've already got a nice little base in here, so I probably will make a little bit more rice. I used 1 cup for this. Probably 2 or 3 probably would have been a better idea. And I can make rice later, so it's not a big deal. But see how easy that was? It might have taken 20 minutes. Really didn't take that long, but the longer you let things sit here, the more it will go in. If you're going to cook with hot sauce and peppers, you probably better let it simmer a little bit more. That's a pretty important thing because it will let your flavors seep through. If you just do your flavor in and then you're done, it's not going to work. It really isn't. What you're going to want to do is cook it in a little bit longer. Let it simmer. The rest of the food will let it breathe into it, so you'll get more flavor out of it. It's the same with any spice, really. If you want a flavor to be going into your food, you have to cook it through. If you don't, then there's going to be some things that are going to be exceptional, by all means. But for the most part, you want to let it seep through. It's like marinating, right? You want things to seep through. Like, if you really want it hot, Alan, I suggest you take that chicken after you're done boiling it and marinating in something else so that it gets the heat that you want. And by all means, if you have a bottle of hot sauce, you can probably just dump it in after you're done anyways. I know my wife would. But, you know, that's Amy for you. She's Dutch, and I don't know if this is a Dutch thing, but every Dutch person I've ever met's like this, so they like their heat. And, bad generalization maybe, but that's what but every Dutch person I've ever met, I grew up with them, that's what they like. They like the heat. So I know that my best buddy right now, if he's eating this, he'd have to dump sriracha right into it because he has to have that heat. But you see this, it's going to be full of flavor. It's really healthy. And this will be a good dinner. I mean, yeah, make some more rice, maybe put some potatoes, but, you know, this I think is going to be great. So I don't really like a whole lot of rice for myself because it fills me too much and I feel kind of bloated later, so for me it's not good. But, you know, most other people should be fine with having maybe 1 or 2 more cups of rice, probably be a little bit better for them. So anyways, please hit the like, share, subscribe button, drop some comments, check out our Patreon, and hope to see you next time. Thanks a lot.